Hello, I'm John Waters, and I'm supposed to announce there is no smoking in this theater, which I think is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard of in my life. How can anyone sit through a length of a film, and especially a European film, and not have a cigarette? But don't you wish you had one right now? And I'm telling you that smoke anyway. It gives ushers jobs, and if people didn't smoke, there would be no employment for the youth of today. So once again, no smoking in this theater.
NoDQ.com.
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 NoDQ.com. NoDQ.com.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
Oh, we're on. There we go. Hi. Welcome, everybody, to Talk Wrestling here on the Jeff Meacham Network, across the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse Media, I should say, as well as NoDQ.com and the Greg Cherry brand. First of all, can everybody hear me? That's the most important thing, because if you can hear me and you can see me, we're in good shape going forward. The second thing is we're on Instagram Live through StreamYard. So we're testing that out today. So just if you are watching on Instagram, find a way to let me know, because I don't know if it's working, but we're trying it out. Anyway, so cool. Everybody can hear me and see me. That's good. That is a good start to the final show of Talk Wrestling, at least for 2023. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Yes, we are on Tuesday today. No Stat Boy Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou today. They will be back next Tuesday, just prior to our coverage of New Year's Evil. So that is what's going on with Stat Boy. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. As you saw in the previews I put up on social media, today is about the good, the bad, and unfortunately the ugly of professional wrestling in 2023. So we are going to go ahead and get right into it. Let's talk about the... I know it's good, bad, ugly, but I'm gonna get right into the ugly, just the yuck of it all, because it's gross and it's an ugly thing, and unfortunately, the bar's closed. Is that what it said? Bar's closed. Yeah, that's it. Bar's closed for the holiday, but we will be back again with Stat Boy and Dory next Tuesday. And they'll be on at 6 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday, by the way, 3 p.m. Pacific, in going live prior to New Year's Evil. I think it was, what the hell show am I doing next Tuesday? So let's talk about the ugly of wrestling in 2023. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, it does swirl around one person. It ended up being very good at the end, at least for him and the folks that are fans of his. But a good chunk of this year and the ugliness that had to do with your friend and mine, CM Punk. Let me see if I can make this just a little bit different. There we go. And we'll just do this here. Let's see. There we go. That much better. Much more colorful. Now, CM Punk, again, Punk was what he was in 2023. And, yes, definitely Tony Khan, definitely Chris Jericho the last week or so. Just an ugly revealing of just how bad social media can be and how bad it can be here in professional wrestling. It is just an ugly thing. And yes, let me just state right up top here, since people are going to start hate tweeting me again for this shit. I'm not blaming Phil Brooks, CM Punk, for the ugliness that was his 2023. He had a lot of shit inflicted upon him, right? As a result of what happened. Now, I will definitely. It's a very good point by Mr. Williams. Anyway, so we started the year of 2023. You know what? Nor do I, if I'm being 100% honest, Cleaver. Chris Jericho's definitely not outspoken. He's always been that way. And by the way, yes, if for those of you that did not get to tune into Dad's yesterday on our Top 10 Songs About Santa Claus episode, or our member section, or anything we did over the weekend, Merry Christmas, belated Christmas. Coming up on Happy New Year. We'll get to those plugs in just a little bit. Yes, the bottom line is the entire situation with Brawlout that happened toward the end of last year, and the fallout since, CJ, to CJ's point here, just made AEW look so Bush League, so second rate. And the situation with Punk was the case study, if you will. He had the situation where he's at the podium at All Out 2022, said what he said, did what he did, the Elite did what they did. And Punk was gone. Yes, he had the tricep injury. Yes, he was off TV and rehabbing in the thing. And then he came back, cut the promo he cut, came back out on TV, spoke with Shivani, revealed the Real World's Championship, defended that championship on television and at All In London against Samoa Joe. And then the second picture, of course, there he is walking out. And then he was gone after what happened with him and Jack Perry. And then there he was in Chicago again at Survivor Series with Triple H backstage after the amazing moment in front of that picture was probably taken before he went out, if we're being honest. But even if it wasn't, we'll go with it. Had the moment with Triple H, went out on SmackDown a week and a half later, said what he said, brought back the old CM Punk to a certain extent. So I really feel like that's the ugly of the year, was definitely social media, especially Twitter, especially Tony. I'm not gonna get too far down the Tony Khan rabbit hole this time. We'll save a lot of that, I'm sure, for the end of the year show on Sunday. And we'll talk more about that. And again, to JJ's point here, it goes back to Cody leaving at the beginning of last year. AW's kind of been seeming like, I'm paraphrasing what he's saying here, because I don't feel like it's completely hopeless yet, unlike the Titanic. Totally hopeless there. But, Cody leaves, Jade Cargill leaves, Brian Pillman Jr. leaves, Punk got fired, whether it was intentional on his part or not. Sting's retiring. Danielson's, looking to end, his in-ring time. But Danielson's part of the good, JJ. We'll get to that in a little bit. I just feel like the ugly, and again, with AEW more, you've got Omega's out indefinitely with until I guess. The punks. It shows you how I feel about that, Nick. The Bucks are on a hiatus. Freudian slip. The Bucks are on the hiatus. Jack Perry's who knows where. Dana Massey's leaving. A lot of the guys that have been there since the beginning are leaving. It's just a mess. But the social media thing, as it should, quite frankly, starts and ends with Tony Khan. It's just the way it is. Tony did not allow himself to be, policed, I suppose, on Twitter, particularly talking about Vince. Recently talking about Disco Inferno and making him relevant, and by stating his relevancy, which was probably the most oxymoronic thing Tony did this year, and he did a lot of oxymoronic things, but that was definitely chief among them. NXT is very much in the good, and we'll definitely talk about that in a second, Josh. So the bad of professional wrestling, as we're a few minutes in here, the bad of wrestling, unfortunately, is it's not really ugly in the sense that, death is always bad, right? Death is never a good thing, at least not for my money. But, young deaths. These 6 people here, and the middle picture, by the way, is Barrett Barrett Anderson, Arn's older son. He's all the way on the right of the picture of him with his mom and Brock. Jay Briscoe, Barrett Anderson, Bray Wyatt, of course. Also, and I totally have these people written down, and then that tab just disappeared when I was trying to open stuff up, so I do apologize. Let me get we're live, pal, as was said earlier. These 6 people here to my left on screen, or my right on screen, my left as far as the mirroring thing, all died under the age of 40, or at least right around that age. Most of them younger than me. Jay Briscoe, a year younger than me. Kristen Mitchell, 4 years younger than me. Barrett Anderson, my age, maybe a little bit younger. Just terrible. The 2 gentlemen at the bottom, again, forgive me, Absolute Andy and Rob Rage and Absolute Andy, for going in the order they're on the screen. Rob a year older than me, Absolute Andy the same age as me. Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt and another one of them, both heart conditions at such a young age. Jay Briscoe, horrible, just car accident, horrible. We still know what happened to Barrett Anderson. Even now, we don't know. We don't know what happened to. We don't know what happened with. We don't know what happened with Miss Mitchell either. So that's not been disclosed to the media, or to anybody outside of family. And and just the deaths of the older folks. From at the end of the day, they're being older, or having a condition that kind of precipitated it. Lanny Poffo this year, grew up watching him. Jerry Jarrett, pioneer in wrestling, grew up watching him. Oh, by the way, SPO, Sean Patrick O'Brien, I didn't get a chance to mention him when it happened, just because it was still so crazy. From what I have been told, great referee, great person. 35 years old, 34, I think, when he passed. Oh, just awful. Just terrible. Bushwhacker Butch, grew up watching, loved the Bushwhacker, Superstar Billy Graham, the Iron Sheik, who we had on Extreme Mayhem back in the day. Draws, what a terrible story Draws turned out to be. Such potential. Ended up getting hurt back in '99 and just kind of carried on till the end here this year. And Terry Funk, another former Extreme Mayhem guest, legend in the industry. Russ Francis, former NFL player and WrestleMania 2 competitor. Just, again, it is unfortunate. The nature of the business is it just precipitates tragic death, unfortunately. But these 6 people in particular, 40 or under, just awful. Just tragic situation when people that young pass away. And again, I mentioned Terry, got to interview Terry Funk. God, when was that? I think it was 2003 we interviewed Terry. It will always be one of my most vivid memories. Okay. If the moderators on wherever they are noticing the comments that have nothing to do with what I'm talking about right now or completely bringing up other stuff, feel free to time those folks out. Honestly, I'm good with it. I really am, because they need to understand that they just need to, stop doing that. Anyway, I honestly just truly wish, and I mean this, I truly wish that the wrestling business wasn't so much of a stigma or so much it's that business, it's that industry, it happens that there are people that have passed away, but again, Terry Funk, again, one of my favorite interviews you ever did, strictly for the backstory of it. We were trying to work on it with him for a while, didn't really get to have it happen, and then he's like, all right, well, I can do it, but we gotta get done before breakfast, so the wife doesn't get on my case, and that's exactly what we did. It's literally exactly what we did. We ended up just, okay, we'll do it that way. So we had him for maybe an hour or so, and then he said we were shooting audio only back then, keep that in mind. So he said he had to go get dressed and go do his thing. That's exactly what he did. Went, got called for breakfast. Heard the breakfast bell or whatever. Off he went to the races. So we'll take care of that right now. So that takes care of that one, because I know that they're on my channel being that way. So there we go. We'll take care of that. Cool beans. And let's see what else we got here. I don't know who has the other person, but anyway. Okay. Now, and again, Iron Sheik, again, another one we had on the show way back in the day, the early days of NoDQ media presentations. He a character. I understand that people were running his social media, his Twitter later in life, but I don't know, the guy we had on was a character, and it was fun. It was just so. It was a surreal experience, to the very least, to have the Iron Sheik as part of our presentation back in 2003. Got to see him get inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2005. Got to be there live for it. Just super cool. Again, Terry we had, but yeah, it is the unfortunate nature of things in wrestling that the good comes with the bad and the ugly comes with both. So I do want to talk about the good. I do. And the first good I want to talk about happened, at least for me, the first good of the year happened WrestleMania Saturday. And it was this. I mean, is that not the coolest thing ever? Getting the opportunity to take my dad to go meet The Undertaker. There we go. Get that zoomed in just a smidge. There we go. It is I've been watching this craziness for 33 years this last October. And when I first started watching, my dad would, watch with me, and he really gravitated toward Macho Man Randy Savage, and Randy was a favorite of ours, and I got to interview Randy back in 2003 when he was promoting his rap album. Oh, it still tickles me just to say that shit out loud. Anyway, whatever. But knowing that Undertaker had, retired and was doing the appearances, doing the meet and greets, doing the thing, it was cool. And I found out it was going to happen. And luckily for me, I was still employed by Disney at the time. And I thought, okay, I really want to not only do this, not only do it for my dad, because my dad's birthday is just about a week before WrestleMania this year, WrestleMania, April 1st was a week after his birthday. So it's like, okay, we'll make it a birthday present. Just and it's a present for me. I'm doing it for my damn self too. Let's be honest. But I thought, what can I do to really get his attention? And as I often do, I said to myself, there's a story that many of you know about Dylan and I, my son Dylan and I, having met, Paul Bear, Percy Pringle at indie shows out here in LA many years before, actually the year before he passed, Percy, 2012, 2013. And Dylan had been handed one of the infamous urns at ringside in a picture, got a great picture of it with him and his mom at ringside, and got to take a picture with Percy back in the green room afterwards, and the whole. So we had this story, but I really needed something to get the attention away from just the cattle call, like picture, just focus his attention. And then I remembered that there was a certain style of urn that Percy had carried on WWE television at the end, and that they used during the storyline with Punk. And I found it. It was on Amazon, man. Amazon is my friend. I'll tell you what. And I had this, and I brought it with me, and it perked his eyes up. My dad had the picture of Dylan with Percy, and Dylan and Percy and I in the green room, and we got an audible wow out of the Undertaker. It was just a moment where we stopped. It was still brief, but it was enough that we got the attention and we got the moment, and it was just one of the most gratifying things I've ever had the chance to do as a fan or as a personality in this business. So that was the super friggin' cool thing for me. I doubt he remembered it 10 minutes after it happened, right? Because it's Undertaker, and it just, the cattle call nature of that. However, a interaction I do know is actually, we'll get to that in a second, because I do want to talk about something that I feel personally is good. Let me go ahead and I seriously feel that the merger of WWE and UFC under Endeavor and the formation of TKO Holdings is good. And that's going to be an interesting opinion. It's going to be a discussion point, I'm sure, on Sunday when we do our big full year in review, when we talk about open mic night. And we'll get to the shills momentarily. As far as I did not ask Undertaker for an interview. I number one, not enough time. Number two, I wanted it to be about the moment with my pop. But yeah, it's Undertaker. I'd love to interview Mark Calloway. I would, but it would be one of those. I'd be so nervous. I would. I don't know if I could handle it for real. How I feel about it. But yeah, I personally think the merger will end up being a good thing. If you look at the way things have shaken out in the last year, since it was first announced and then since it was finalized, it seems like things are good. UFC is partnering with them. Hell, Dana did 12 days of giveaways over the Christmas break or Christmas holiday, and one of those was a trip to WrestleMania through UFC. I'll go to Philly. Shit, why not? But and if my audio's having trouble, it may be because of my voice, because I'm still very scratchy. So I apologize if my audio's having issues, folks. And again, we're testing Instagram waters here, so forgive me if it's coming out a little shaky. We are trying here. Let's see how we're doing on Instagram. By the way, let me check out what we're doing over here. Okay, says we're doing good. Looks like the audio is coming through. I have people watching me from grade school, so I need to watch my mouth apparently. Mrs. Phil, so you're still watching. Hi. Miss you. I miss seeing the Canadian football games. Yeah, I mean, that's fair with Undertaker and Jay. That's a very good point. So maybe. But I still feel this merger is going to be a positive thing long term. And yeah, to the chat room's point, Vince McMahon not being in direct or even complete control of WWE is still one of those. Wow, really? That's a thing? okay, cool. It's different, right? It's odd. It's something you never thought you'd hear, but it is a reality. It is a fact of life. The best good for me personally, I don't know if it's good. I don't know if that's really good for wrestling, but it sure as hell was good for me. Let's talk about it, folks. Let's talk about our scumbag, shall we? MJF. Finding out Max was a fan was very cool for me. But even knowing he was a fan, I didn't expect anything, really big when I found out he was doing the meet and greet here in the lead up to Full Gear. My goodness, was I wrong? So cool to get him to. And by the way, people have asked me, and they kind of think I'm full of it. No prep on either promo he cut, other than letting him know about Josh and his lack of knowledge of Mary Poppins, which that pissed him off. He's a Disney person. Just, it's terrible. Yeah, my Twitter follows definitely skyrocketed thanks to MJF. So but it was a very cool moment. Definitely the highlight for me professionally was this interaction and the knowledge that Max was a fan. I do still, even now, apologize to the Friedman family for turning that adorable little 6-year-old boy on the Rosie O'Donnell show into a scumbag. So that's our bad. He was a fan of ours. We apologize at NoDQ.com and the Jeffy Chair Multiverse Media. But you know what? He's our scumbag, and we love this man. So there you go. Oh, my goodness. Marshall, I'll go ahead and answer this question because I actually like, who's a wrestler you never had the opportunity to interview that you can still have the chance to interview that you want to interview? Undertaker is definitely on the list. Hogan, Flair, Austin, Rock. But if it comes down to one, it's Undertaker. Honest to God, it is. And that's going to be like, not Hulk? No. I would love to have Hulk on, but for me, the interview that I could possibly pull off, and I'm only saying that because Vince isn't pull offable, would be Undertaker or Sting. Good point, CJ. Sting would be another option. I would love to be able to do that. I just we're loading here. There we go. Trying to get the rest of these plugs in so that way I can go into it because I did not load the plug for Saturday. So just give me 1 second. We are live. I know it. We're live. Get off my back. I'm aware what time it is. I still want to do my thing. We are going to get this plug in. Oh, geez, that was a lot of shit. Hang on. Nope. Delete. I feel like the Hardys. Delete. Where is this darn graphic, I ask you people? Where is it? I must find it. I don't know where it is. There it is. Very good. Okay, cool. Anyway, we're live, folks. Yes. So that's really, the ugly is going to be social media. The good is the merger and the personal moments for sure. And the bad is the deaths. That's never not going to be a thing, right? So that's it for Talk Wrestling for 2023. I thank everybody for who's tuned in this year. Everybody that's tuned in the last 16 and a half years of Talk Wrestling. My goodness, that's a long time. Again, we'll be back with Stopway Sports Bar in this time slot, kind of, sort of, because he'll be on at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific next Tuesday, January 2nd. Of course, if you missed for whatever reason, shame on you if you did, our open mic night, Eve of Christmas Eve, second annual Christmas karaoke spectacular. Please check it out. It's on demand across the multiverse. Please check it out for us. Give us a little love. Not a quick show. It's still 30 minutes, Josh, and we're not done yet. We're still shilling. Keep that in mind. Also on demand right now, yesterday's episode of Dad's Not Always on Wrestling, the top 10 Christmas songs about jolly old St. Nicholas himself, Santa Claus. And the top 2 are voted on by you folks. So if you don't like the top 2, that is your bad. You guys made your decisions. So I don't want to hear it. No, I'm kidding. Totally absolved ourselves of responsibility. That was 100% why we did that. We narrowed it down to 2, the top 2, and then we're like, okay, I don't want to make the decision. So we totally chickened out and made you guys vote. Also, that went up yesterday, Noah and JJ calling, for my money, the greatest trilogy in the history of professional wrestling. Damn it. Over in the members section of the Coliseum Studios, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus the Nature Boy Ric Flair over the NWA Championship. Check it out in the members only section. If you're not a member, 5 subscriptions were gifted during the karaoke show, so there's no excuse at this point. It's $5 a month, folks. Plus, you're paying for Peacock at this point. Tomorrow, the Greg Cherry Show will be a very special best of 2023 episode of the Greg Cherry Show in its normal time slot of 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. Thursday, it's not here. Bloody hell. I was not prepared for this whatsoever. I am so disorganized. That's what I get for trying to rush on the air after trying to take a quick napski. You get a little sleep in, you're goes sideways. It is what it is, folks. We are live, as I said. I'll find it eventually. I will. There it is. Okay, cool. So Thursday will be the first day, and it will be this way going forward, that Meach's Musings is on Thursdays at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, and we'll be talking about reflections in my personal life in 2023, and that will not be on NoDQ.com. That'll be across the multiverse, but not on NoDQ. So check that out on Thursday. Friday, I think they're simply predicting World's End. You have to check with Noah and JJ on that. If they're in the chat room, I'll check right now. Maybe. Let me check the chat room. Oh, it's loading slow. We have a slow computer today, but that's okay. There we go. Very cool. So yeah, Friday will be the predictions in all likelihood. Saturday, World's End, our coverage of AEW's final pay-per-view, final show of 2023 for AEW. That'll be Saturday night, and then, oh my goodness, Sunday, open mic night, episode 100, the end of year 4, going into year 5 of the Jeff Meacham Network, our 2023 highlight reel, which we did find out in the private chat today, will be more extensive than we thought this morning during For Love Wrestling. James is on it. JD is on it. James is on it. Everybody's on the call here. Okay, so there we go. So simply predicting. Let me get that graphic back up here. Simply predicting for World's End, as confirmed by JJ Williams, will be Friday, coming up at 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific on... Did it load? It didn't load. Why didn't it? There it is. There we go. So Friday, ignore the Saturday part there. Friday, December 29th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern will be the simply predicting for World's End. And then again, as I said, Sunday, we end the year, open mic night. Now, I did say every time that I went live or had an opportunity to have somebody give a tease for a guest during this week, and I would do it. I did not do it during the Christmas episode, except very briefly after Josh had left. So I don't know if he caught that or not. He did catch the tease on social media. The first guest that we have lined up is a former world champion and a multiple-time award winner by the venerated Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards over his 2-decade career. The second guest that we have lined up has worked for no less than 5 sports franchises throughout the competitive athletic world, including 3 based right here in Los Angeles. Oh my goodness. Cannot wait for that person to be on. Also they've come, they're self-described a foodie, a major connoisseur of all things food, especially the junk food stuff, the really rich stuff you find here in places like LA and New York and Pennsylvania, just all the good stuff. So that's our second guest we have confirmed. So a former world champion and a hiree of no less than 5 different sports franchises throughout the sports world. Both those people will be on with us this Sunday on New Year's Eve. So there is that. And then, my goodness, next week. Talk about next week, folks. WWE was trying to counter-program our counter-programming to their programming. I defy them to do it, by God. We've got next week's Talk Wrestling, which I'll get to momentarily, For the Love of Wrestling, Stepway Sports Bar, The Greg Cherry Show, Meach's Musings, Open Mic Night, and our watch-alongs of Day 1, New Year's Evil, Wrestle Kingdom, and SmackDown. But yeah, Talk Wrestling next week will be me discussing in depth the winners of the 2023 NoDQ.com year-end awards. There you go. The very first stream across the multiverse of 2024 will be coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, 1 week from yesterday, Monday, January 1st. And yes, 2 JJ's. Well, here, you know what? I'll go ahead and be helpful to the chat room because I'm just that kind of guy. The former world champion we're going to have on, their reign is indeed, I think, recognized by WWE. Maybe. Don't know for sure. And the person I gave the clue about today, as far as the self-described foodie, you would never know that by the way they stay in the shape they do. Person's in ridiculous shape. So there you go. All right, kids, that's it for me on Talk Wrestling for 2023. We hope you've enjoyed it. Oh, I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, if you enjoyed the show today, my name is Jeff Meacham. This has been Talk Wrestling. If you didn't enjoy the show today, my name is Dave Meltzer. This is Wrestling Observer Live, and we will see you guys next week right here on Talk Wrestling.
NoDQ.com.
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 The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.